right, so I'm going to go over this handout with you. So I will upload this onto the LMS. You guys will have this. I like this one because it's nice and clear and clean. Now, I don't want you to leave through you without knowing about this, the particulars of gas exchange, okay? So this basically shows you how your circulatory system and your respiratory system are working together. All right, and when a circulatory system and a respiratory system and all your systems work together, they work together to maintain a stable internal environment called homeostasis. All right, so just on the back of this, I'm just going to write homeostasis. Okay, and that means that we need to maintain a stable internal environment. And how do we do that? We do that through all these different cells that are organized into tissues, that are organized into organs, that are organized into organ systems that are doing all the work for us. So for instance, you have to maintain a stable body temperature. Okay? You have to maintain a stable oxygen concentration. And just so that you hear it from me, your oxygen concentration is completely determined by your carbon dioxide concentration. So what happens is a part of your brain called the medulla, and we typically call it the medulla oblongata, it monitors your carbon dioxide levels. Okay, it monitors those on a moment-to-moment basis, and it's not actually monitoring oxygen. So if carbon dioxide gets too high in the blood, then it tells you have to breathe more quickly to get rid of the CO2 and bring in more O2, okay? You have to maintain glucose on a moment-to-moment basis, all right? And I could go on and on, but why am I telling you this? Because you need to know that your systems, not just the ones we're learning about in grade 11, but they work to maintain this thing called homeostasis. And so this is one of the ways that we maintain homeostasis. And what I'm showing you here is how the circulatory system and the respiratory system work together to do that, okay? This is one big part of how they do that. Keep in mind, the circulatory system has the heart. The heart would not be doing anything if it wasn't for the digestive system that gives it energy, okay? So if you can't digest your food, you're not gonna have enough energy to feed your heart, and so this would be off. So the three systems can be linked together like that. And also oxygen is required for the digestive system because it's required for cellular respiration. So that being said, I'm just showing you the two systems today, and I'm going to let's do blue for carbon dioxide and or pink for oxygen, because we can pretend it's red, and blood that is really red has lots of oxygen. Okay, so what am I showing you today? I'm showing you how your body exchanges gases. Super important concept, all right? So it's going to be a lot more detailed than in grade 10. Won't take me a long time, but I want you to be aware of how chemically your blood changes as a result of you breathing in oxygen. So your alveoli are your air sacs, okay? This air has come through your bronchioles, etc., and it's reached the alveoli. And so the alveoli has lots and lots of oxygen, okay? And your red blood cells, as they're returning to the lungs, are low in oxygen. And so what happens is you get diffusion of oxygen going in this direction, okay? And when oxygen is loaded into the red blood cell, this is a red blood cell, it mixes with something called hemoglobin. Okay, and I've mentioned hemoglobin to you before. And when hemoglobin attaches to oxygen, and oxygen loves hemoglobin loves oxygen, it's a real chemical attraction, we make something called oxyhemoglobin. And so oxyhemoglobin is the form in which you carry oxygen around in your body, okay? So I'd be really happy if you could leave grade 11 knowing that. Oxygen is carried in your body in the chemical called oxyhemoglobin. Where are you gonna find that? In the very center of those red blood cells that no longer have a nucleus, okay? And then what happens is, now, this is like a lazy river, okay? So picture like, I can't think of the name of it right now, but that park down by the lake. They've got a lazy river, right? And so this donut here has oxyhemoglobin in it, or this inner tube. And what it's doing is it's sailing down. Now, next frame, different picture. This is going to encounter a body cell. It could be any body cell, okay? So we could say this is in your right elbow. Your right elbow has a low oxygen concentration. And so what happens is that the oxyhemoglobin, because there's less oxygen here, oxygen wants to diffuse in this direction, and oxygen will travel. It will leave oxyhemoglobin, and then we will just have hemoglobin again, and oxygen will travel to your tissue cells, okay? So your tissue cells will draw oxygen toward them because they have a low concentration of oxygen, and this has a higher concentration of oxygen. And keep this in mind, there's going to be another donut here and another donut here. You saw the blood, you saw those blood smears, you saw how many red blood cells there are typically. So if this doesn't get its oxygen from this one, there's another inner tube coming along, okay? And then this is eventually going to be depleted. We can carry up to 4 oxygen molecules in the center, so we can carry 4 oxyhemoglobins. And once this is depleted, then the next part of that story brings us back over here, okay? And it goes to the lungs and it gets the oxygen back. Now, carbon dioxide. Okay, let's go to the tissue cells here. Tissue cells are rich in carbon dioxide, okay? So there's more carbon dioxide in your cells. Don't let tissue cell stress you out, just your body, okay? So parts of your body have high carbon dioxide and lower oxygen. Carbon dioxide then diffuses into the blood plasma, all right? And when it diffuses into the blood plasma, it combines with the water in the plasma, and it forms this temporary chemical called carbonic acid, all right? And then the carbonic acid then becomes a hydrogen ion, and it becomes the bicarbonate ion, and that's what I want you to know. Okay, so this bicarbonate ion is how you carry waste carbon dioxide off. And this is basically what your medulla oblongata is measuring, okay? It's looking to see, do I have too much bicarbonate ion, or is the concentration right on? And so what happens here is that this is just traveling. You've got this just traveling in your plasma, just like your red blood cells are in your plasma, your white blood cells are there, your platelets, your hormones, all that stuff, your amino acids. This is just another chemical in your plasma. But it is a waste and you have to get rid of it. And so as we approach the lungs and the alveoli, the bicarbonate ion, okay, goes back through this reaction, the vice versa of that reaction, becomes carbonic acid temporarily, and then carbon dioxide, because it's in a lower concentration here than it is here, diffuses in that direction and you breathe it out. Okay, that's the alveoli. And remember, that's in the plasma. I do want to tell you, just so you're more knowledgeable, your red blood cells on occasion can pick up a carbon dioxide molecule. It's not something they typically do, but carbon dioxide can travel in the donut there, okay? I hope you understood that.